Lisa May Alcott. So, the four sisters, Margaret, Jo, Elizabeth, and Amy, are sitting in their comfortable living room lamenting about their poverty. In time, their thoughts turn to their father who is serving in the army. They become sad, realizing that he will not be with them on Christmas. The sisters decide to surprise their mother, whom the girls called Marmee, on Christmas by buying her a present. Just then, the mother arrives and says she has a surprise for the girls. One of the girls cry out, saying that it is a letter from their father. As Mammy settles down near the fireplace, the four girls gather around her and listen to their mother read the letter. Their father misses them and longs to see his daughters. Later, the girls decide to enact Pilgrim's Progress, something they used to do when they were younger. Soon the girls are cheerful as Beth plays the piano and the others sing to its tunes. Chapter 2, the highlights of this. It is Christmas morning. Jo is the first to wake up. Looking under her pillow, she sees a crimson-covered little book. The other girls too find copies of the same book. The girls are happy and soon are reading their copy of the book. After a while, Meg makes inquiries about their mother from their servant Hannah. They learn that someone has come to get some help, that Mommy has gone with the person to see what was needed. Then the girls hide the presents for their mother in a basket under the sofa. When Mommy comes back, the breakfast table is laid and the girls thank their mother for the books. Mommy informs them that a poor and hungry family, the Hummels, lives nearby. She asks the girls if they will give their breakfast as Christmas present to the family. The girls give their breakfast to the poor family and are happy. They return home and eat bread and milk, but are content. Later, the girls enact a play and it comes to an abrupt end when the folding cot suddenly closes where their audiences have been sitting. No one is hurt, but there is lots of laughter. Mommy surprises the girls with an elaborate supper. Seeing the delight on their faces, Mommy tells them that old Mr. Lawrence has sent this feast for them when he learned about the selfless thing the girls did for the Hummels in the morning. In chapter 3, the highlights, the summary. Jo and Meg are invited to a dance by Mrs. Gardiner, their neighbor, in the evening. The girls go to the dance, Jo with many pins stuck in her hair and a burnt patch on the back of her dress, and Meg in shoes a little tight for her. While Meg is soon dancing, Jo worried about the burnt patch, and from the fear that someone will ask her for dance, quickly retreats into an empty recess. To her surprise, she finds herself face to face with the Lawrence boy. Jo and the boy, called Laurie, soon start talking. She learns that it was his grandfather's idea to send them the feast on Christmas Day. Jo says that they were grateful for it. After a while, Laurie asks her why she is away from the dance floor. Reluctantly, Jo tells him about the burnt patch on her dress. Laurie suggests that they can go into the empty hall there and dance and no one will see them. Jo agrees and they dance together. In some time, Meg comes along complaining that she has hurt her ankle and that she must rest now before Hannah comes to take them back home. When Hannah does come, Laurie offers that the girls can go home in his carriage. Meg is relieved and Jo is glad. We later learn that the two eldest girls, Meg and Jo, support themselves. Meg works as a nursery governess while Jo attends to their Aunt March. She is an old lame lady who is rich but childless and wants someone to look after her. Jo decides to become her companion only because the old lady has a large library. In chapter 4, the summary and the highlights are: one day feeling restless, Jo decides to clear the snow from the path leading to their house. While doing so, she sees the difference between their house and that of the Lawrences, which are separated by a hedge. She notices that while their house looks bare, their neighbors speaks of the luxury within those walls. She remembers that she has not seen Laurie after that dance. She wishes to go inside and talk to Laurie. One day she sees Laurie looking out through a window into their garden where Beth and Amy are throwing snowballs at each other. Joe realizes that Laurie looks lonely and that he needs companions. Later, when she sees Miss Lawrence drive off, daring Joe decides to go and meet Laurie. Seeing no one around, she tosses a snowball at Laurie. Laurie at once brightens up. He says that due to a bad cold, he has been shut up, but would like some company. Jo replies that she will come if Mommy allows her. Laurie is happy. In no time, Jo is inside the mansion. She has Beth's 3 kittens with her and Meg sends blank mange for him. In no time, Laurie has forgotten his sickness and is laughing at the antics of the kittens. Soon Laurie confesses that when he is lonely, he often looks towards their house, where he finds them surrounding their mother and having so much fun. Joe sees his loneliness and suggests that instead of looking at them, he can come and join in the fun. Laurie says that he can come if his grandfather allows him to, and that he will allow him if their mother asks him. He mentions that his grandfather is kind and lets him do what he wants, but does not want him to be a bother to anyone. Joe remarks they are neighbors and that he can never be a bother to them. Just then, the doctor comes to see Laurie and he excuses himself. Jo, left to herself, looks at the portrait of the old gentleman. Just then, the door opens and without turning, she says that the old man has kind eyes, that he is not as handsome as her grandfather, but she likes him and is not afraid of him. A gruff voice says thank you, and Jo is startled. It is old Mr. Lawrence, Laurie's grandfather. The next moment, the old gentleman laughs out loud and tells her that her grandfather was brave, honest, and that he is proud to be his friend. He later asks her what brought her to his house. Jo says that she was being a good neighbor and had come to see Laurie as he seemed lonely. She also mentions that it'll do him good if he has company. Later, over tea, Mr. Lawrence observes that his grandson and Jo are talking like old friends and that the change has done him good. In chapter 5, the highlights here for you. The March family pays a visit to the mansion, and the old Mr. Lawrence is truly grateful to Mrs. March for her affection and to the girls. Laurie, who has never known family, loved them and was fascinated by them. His tutor, Mr. Brooke, now often finds Laurie at the March's house. Laurie and the girls have a good time. They play together, and the girls often pay a visit to the manor. Beth longs to play the grand piano, but she is scared of Mr. Lawrence. One day, the old gentleman pays a visit to the Marches. There, he gradually turns the conversation to music. Beth is interested at once. The old gentleman pays her no heed on purpose as he talks about Laurie's lessons and his teachers. He says that Laurie neglects his music, and therefore, if any of the girls want to practice on it just to keep it in tune, they are welcome to do so. Unable to wait anymore, Beth slips her hand into the old gentleman's hand and says that she will be delighted to come. The next day, Beth goes to the manor and with trembling hands starts playing the piano. As she is enraptured by the music, she doesn't realize that old Mr. Lawrence is listening to the music she is playing and likes it. To thank Mr. Lawrence, she makes slippers for him and smuggles them into his study with the help of Laurie. One afternoon, when Beth comes home, she hears delighted voices all around. There is a letter from the old gentleman, and when she enters the house, she gasps. There is a cabinet piano sitting in the room, and it is for her. Another moment, and Beth is hurrying along the hedge towards the manor to thank Mr. Lawrence. She rushes to the study and, without saying a word, embraces the old man. Surprised but happy, Mr. Lawrence feels as if he has found his granddaughter back. Beth no longer fears the old gentleman. And the next chapter highlights for you. A few days later, Amy finds Meg and Joe all dressed up and ready to go out. Feeling lonely, Amy wants to accompany them as Laurie has invited the two girls to watch a play. They could not take her along. She is particularly upset with Joe. Later, when the girls return, they find Amy reading and she never asks them anything about the play. Joe thinks that Amy has forgotten the incident, but she is mistaken. Next morning, Joe finds her book missing. Soon she learns that Amy has burnt it. Joe is angry with Amy. When Mrs. March learns of the incident, she is grieved. Amy is repentant but is afraid to seek Joe's pardon. The next day, she sees Joe and Laurie going out to skate over the frozen river. She follows them behind on her skates. Joe notices her but ignores her, and Laurie does not see her. Laurie goes carefully over the frozen river and says that they should avoid going near the middle. Joe hears it, but Amy doesn't. Following Joe at a distance, Amy goes towards the middle of the water body. Suddenly, Joe hears a voice. She looks over her shoulder and freezes. Amy has trodden on thin ice and fallen into the icy depths. Joe can only see her hands out of the water and is terror stricken. However, Laurie's timely action saves Amy. Together, Joe and Laurie bring the dripping and frightened Amy home. She lies covered in blankets before the fireplace. Joe is filled with remorse for being evil. She confesses everything to Marmee. Just then, Amy opens her eyes, and without exchanging a single word, Joe and Amy embrace each other. Everything is forgiven between them. And the next chapter, the highlights. Jo has been writing for 3 hours straight in the garret. When she is done, she carefully reads it, makes changes in it, and then ties it up with a ribbon. After a while, she puts it inside her pocket, goes out of the house, and takes a bus to town. Once there, she goes to a certain street and enters by a certain building. As she enters the building, she is seen by a man who, amused by her reactions, follows her unseen and stands opposite to the building which Jo enters. 10 minutes later, when Jo comes out of the building, she sees a young man and is pleased. The young man is Laurie. Jo tells him that she has a secret, and Laurie says that he will keep it that way until she wants to make it known. Jo, however, tells him that she has submitted 2 stories to a publisher for printing. She must wait a week before he gives her an answer. Laurie assures her that her stories will be published, and then they race down the road. After a while, Meg finds both Laurie and Jo sitting by a tree trunk. Meg asks Jo to act ladylike. Jo replies to let her remain so. Over the next week, Jo keeps rushing to the postman to know if any post has come for her. The sisters are confused by Jo's behavior. Suddenly, one day, as Meg is busy with her sewing and the others are sitting by, Jo rushes in with a newspaper. Jo asks her to read the new story in the paper, but instead, Meg asks her to read it out to them. Jo's sisters appreciate the story and ask who has written it. Jo reveals that she has written it. The girls are filled with happiness while Mrs. March is really proud of her. Jo then tells them how it has all come about. And the next chapter, the highlights. One dull day in November, Beth announces that 2 pleasant things are going to happen. In the next few minutes, she has seen Mommy coming and Laurie dashing down their garden path. Laurie comes in and asks the girls if they would like to go for a ride in the motor car. Just then, Mrs. March comes in. Meg refuses to go. In comes Hannah with a telegram. Seeing it, Mrs. March snatches it from Hannah, reads it, and drops down into a chair, white as a sheet. Laurie gets her water. Meg and Beth support her while Jo reads the telegram. It reads that Mr. March is very ill and that Mrs. March must come at once. The room is quiet, and it seems to the girls that the day has darkened and all their happiness has been sucked out. All preparations for the journey are quickly made. Hannah and Meg pack their mother's suitcase. Laurie goes with a telegram saying that she is coming at once, and another with letter and another letter for Aunt March, from whom Mrs. March borrows some money, and Hannah is sent to Mr. Lawrence to ask him for some wine bottles. Mr. Lawrence comes rushing back. He says he is sorry to hear the sad news, that he will look after the girls, and that if Mrs. March wishes, he can accompany her to Washington. Mrs. March will not have the old gentleman, travel so far. However, Mr. Brooke soon comes along and says that he will accompany her and would like to be of service to her. Everyone is grateful for the kindness being done to them. Soon Laurie comes with the desired money from Aunt March. Jo, however, is missing. When she does come, she walks up to Marmee and offers her money, saying that this is her contribution to her expenses. Jo has cut her hair short to get the money. Early next day, the girls say goodbye to their mother. As the carriage rolls away, Mommy looks back and sees the girls surrounded by Mr. Lawrence, Hannah, and devoted Laurie. She is pleased that the girls are in good hands. Soon the girls receive a letter saying that their father is very ill but will soon be on the road to recovery. Over the next few days, gradually, the news about their father brings good tidings for the girls' anxious hearts. In chapter 9, the highlights for you. The girls behave well in their mother's absence. One day, Beth goes to nurse the baby of the Hummels, whom the girls have given their breakfast. Meanwhile, Jo goes to mother's closet to get something when she sees Beth sitting there with red eyes and a camphor bottle in her hand. Beth tells Jo that the baby has died from scarlet fever and that she was asked to return home lest she also catches it. Hannah is told everything and sends for Dr. Banks to take a look at Beth. She also decides to send Amy to Aunt March in order to keep her out of harm's way. Amy rebels, however, Laurie is able to persuade her to go to Aunt March. Laurie makes inquiries about Beth. Meg tells him that Beth is troubled because of the baby's death, and Hannah says that she only has a cold, but the look in her eyes has worried her. Concerned and undecided if the girls should write to their mother, Laurie goes to fetch Dr. Banks. After his examination, the doctor says that Beth has symptoms of scarlet fever. Meg starts nursing Beth, while Amy is at once sent to Aunt March's house, escorted by Laurie and Jo. Hannah takes control of the situation. Jo attends to Beth's every need. Beth is much worse, and there comes a time when the girls think of writing to their mother. But it is about that time that they receive a letter that their father has had a relapse and that mommy will not be able to come for some time. The once happy house is still and filled with happiness. Laurie is restless, and Mr. Lawrence shuts the grand piano as it reminds him of the neighbor who has made his evenings pleasant. Everyone misses cheerful Beth. On the first day of December, Dr. Banks, after examining Beth, says Mrs. March should be sent for. Hannah and the girls are on the brink of tears. Just then, Laurie comes in with the news that Mr. March has recovered significantly. Hearing about Beth startles Laurie. Jo also informs him that she has sent for their mother. Laurie then tells her that he had already sent for Mrs. March and that she will reach soon. A breath of fresh air seems to pass through the house. The doctor too says that he will pay a visit at night to see if there is a change for the better. Around midnight, Jo and Amy see that Beth seems to be sleeping peacefully. Just then, the doctor also comes, examines Beth, and confirms that the worst has passed and that Beth is on the road to recovery. The sisters are filled with happiness. As the first rays of sunshine spread across the horizon, Hannah hears bells and Lori comes inside and says that Mommy has arrived. And the next chapter, the highlights. The house is filled with happiness once more. Beth smiles, seeing her mother. Jo and Meg can finally rest, and Hannah, in order to show her excitement, prepares a splendid breakfast. The girls also learn that Mr. Brooke is staying with their father and has assured Mommy that he will look after Mr. March. Mommy stays by Beth's side and she is a comfort to her. Towards evening, while Meg is writing to their father about their mother's safe arrival, Jo approaches her mother with an uncertain look. When asked, she tells her mother that Meg and Mr. Brooke are in love. She is concerned because Meg is so young and Mr. Brooke is poor. Her mother tells her that she has herself grown fond of John Brooke. Her mother says that John has confessed his feelings for Meg and that he is not going to say anything unless he earns a comfortable home. Also, she and Mr. March are not going to marry Meg so early. Mrs. March asks Jo to keep this conversation a secret and that Meg should not find out about this. However, Jo is anxious that if Meg gets married, the fun times the girls have had together will cease. And the next chapter, which is chapter number 11, the highlights here for you. Soon, both Meg and Mr. March are on the road to recovery. Mr. March even suggests that he might return early in the new year. On Christmas Day, Jo is filled with excitement. Beth too feels much better and she laughs for the first time in days at Jo and Laurie's jokes. After much excitement and merriment, Beth is led back to the study. After everyone has opened their presents, it is then that Laurie announces that there is another Christmas present. The next minute, a tall man enters the room leaning on the arm of John Brooke. An instant later, all four March girls have embraced Mr. March with shrieks of laughter. After a while, when the excitement has subsided a little, Laurie and Mr. Brooke take their leave. As the family sit together, Mr. March tells them that he has been planning to surprise them for a while. He also tells them that John has taken good care of him all along. Later, Mr. Lawrence, Mr. Brooke, and Laurie dine with the Marches. When the guests leave, Beth sits at the piano and plays wonderful music, which fills the heart of her beloved family with happiness. And the next chapter, which is chapter number 12, we have the highlights for you. Meg, however, learns about John's feelings for her. When Jo asks her how she will react if John asks her about his feelings for her, Meg says that she will tell him that she is too young and they should remain friends. Jo is unconvinced. Just then, the two sisters are interrupted by John Brooke, who has come to ask about Mr. March's health. Jo excuses herself, saying that she will bring him straight away. Meg says that she will fetch their mother. Seeing that she is trying to avoid him, Jo asks her if she is afraid of him. Meg says that she is grateful that he has been so kind to their father. Then John confesses his love for Meg, and her only reply is that she is too young. Aunt March chooses this particular moment to make an entrance. She states that Meg should not marry a poor man and that if she does, she is not going to get one penny from her. Meg opposes her, saying that she will marry who she wants to and that she can do what she likes with her money. Nothing deters Aunt March and she starts insulting John. Meg says her John will not marry for money. Angry, Aunt March slams the door and leaves. John Brooke comes forward and says that he didn't know that Meg cared for him. She confesses she didn't know herself until her aunt had started abusing him. After a while, John comes to find out if the matter with John Brooke is ended, but is hurt to see both of them laughing. Without a word, she tells her parents that John Brooke is sitting with Meg. When Beth and Amy learn of it, the girls are delighted. Mr. and Mrs. March spend a lot of time with Meg and John in the parlor, and the discussion ends when all the things about the wedding are settled. Jo is happy, is sad. Jo is sad as she's losing her best friend. Laurie comforts her, saying that she still has him for his friend. In part 2, which we will do in a short while, we have the highlights for you too. So we'll continue with that in the next session.